Welcome everyone to today's webinar titled Performing Under Pressure, Building Resilient Teams to Take on this season's Big Moments and Beyond. We are lucky enough to be joined today by Erin Hart, our Vice President of Curriculum and Program Engagement for Varsity Brands, as well as Allison Schmitt, four-time Olympian and our Surge Chief Empowerment Officer. We're going to kick things off today with a short video on Surge before we jump straight into today's webinar content. Stick around till the end for a live Q&A with Allison and Erin on their new curriculum module. Thank you and enjoy.
As a Surge member, you'll unlock access to resources that build confidence, motivation, and mental well-being to empower girls to stay in the game today and pave the way for their future success. Up your game with free professional development and curriculum resources for coaches and athletes. Foster community and connection with VIP access to girls' sporting events, coaching forums, giveaways, and workshops hosted by industry-leading partners. Make waves with exclusive Surge branding packages, designs, and apparel. Recognize and celebrate with special awards like Team of the Season and Athlete of the Season to uplift and honor your female athletes. Unlock exclusive offers including new product sneak peeks, promos, and member-only Surge stores. Fresh content designed to empower female athletes will be added to the platform every month. So, together, we can help power girls forward.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. I am Erin Hart. I'm the Vice President of Curriculum and Program Engagement for Varsity Brands, and I get to work with the amazing people at BSN Sports and Surge every single day, including Allison Schmitt, our Chief Empowerment Officer for Surge. So I'm so excited to join her on this webinar. We've been working on some resources behind the scenes for everybody, and this is going to be everybody's first chance to get to see what we've been working on. So what I want to be able to do in our first slide here is to give you some information about what we currently have available on the Surge website for coaches. So the overall mission of Surge is to empower our young athletes and give coaches the tools that they need to make sure our girls have the confidence and the enthusiasm and motivation to stay in sport. We know that when girls stay in sport, there are so many benefits overall to their mental health and also their trajectory and their career. And so Surge Forward is a module for coaches to really start the season right and to start building that confidence with their team. Surge Within is for the back half of the season, so that as our team has been developed, we are now able to understand, okay, we're going to step into our power as a team and as an athlete in order to really excel. And then Allison has come to us with some really amazing team building resources that we're providing to you as coaches to share with your students to help build team chemistry. And what we're going to show you today builds on that Surge Together module. So all of this resource, everything that we provide is 100% free to all Surge members, and it is free to become a Surge member. So we're excited to be able to share this with you today. So performing under pressure is the new extension of our Surge Together module. So starting right now, you can go to the landing page for Surge Together and you can download the entire packet and the resources there, again, 100% for free. And Allison brought this concept to us with the idea of how do we prepare our young athletes to really compete in that big game, if it's the end of the season, the postseason, the playoffs, the big meet, the match that really we've been working towards for an entire season. How do we help our athletes be confident and have the correct mindset going into all of that? So I don't think I really need to tell you that Allison has been in some of those big meets herself. As a four-time Olympian, she has been in some of the biggest meets that we've all been able to watch on television and root for her and cheer her on. And so as we go into all of this content, I'm excited for Allison, our Chief Empowerment Officer, to be able to share some of her experiences as we break those down. So a little bit more background just to make sure if you missed some of our other webinars with Allison, she's a 4-time Olympian. She is a decorated medalist. But beyond that, she also has her master's in social work, and she's a huge advocate for mental health, especially for athletes. And so that's where the work that we do with Surge and the work that she does on her own really come together to inspire the next generation of female athletes. So I'm going to stop talking for just a minute, and I'm going to let Allison introduce herself. And again, Allison, I'm excited to be here with you. Thanks for all you do for Surge.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be a part of this. And Erin, I love our team and everything we've created. So thank you. I love to be a part of Surge Team, Team USA, and every other team I've been a part of. I went to University of Georgia. I've had so many great experiences on all my teams, and I'm so thankful for everything sport has given me. It has given me many opportunities, open doors. I've learned lessons that I've carried with me past swimming. I have friendships that have all over the world. People that I still talk to over in Australia, all the way across the world. So it gives you the chance to experience different cultures through travel, as well as just getting to learn about yourself and see what's really passionate for you and what drives you. So that's why partnering with this team has just feels so homey to me. It's a perfect fit because we share the passion for what sports can do. It opens doors, it creates connections, it instills life skills, inspires growth, and ultimately empowers us to be our best selves. So I'm excited to work with this team and to keep spreading the impact that we've already started.
Awesome. And we all love working with you too, Allison. It's great to have you as a brainstorming partner, all the great ideas that you bring, and it's fun to watch them come to life. So I'm excited to kind of get into it. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. And just to give everybody a little background on how we got to where we are with this content, what made you so passionate about helping coaches get their teams ready to perform under pressure? Like, what was the inspiration for you in terms of supporting girls through this phase of competition?
Lived it. I've lived it as I've also witnessed it. And I am grateful for the support system that I had around me, who ultimately helped create an environment that was safe for me in sport. And it helped me love the limelight. We talk about being under pressure, and I absolutely loved every Olympic Games, every meet. The more cameras, the more lights, the more people, I absolutely love. And I don't know exactly when that shift happened, but I know it was my support system who really helped me through that and gave me tools to really use that as energy and help me in my performance. And I'm forever grateful for that. But I know that I've seen people and I've seen teammates, I've seen competitors that are in the opposite spectrum and they're throwing up or they're not able to compete under pressure. So if we're able to give these tools to coaches, and hopefully you can keep spreading the word to other coaches and your teammates and your team members and everyone else to really create that environment that helps sport, because sport is such a positive impact for all of us. And so how can we keep girls in sports? Because I know for myself, I want to be where I am today without sport. And I hope that it opens doors and gives other girls opportunities, whether it's continuing professional sports or going into careers that they love. Sport really helps you have those invaluable skills.
The greatest thing about, I think, what you just said, Allison, was the fact that you had this support system around you that made you feel safe when you were in those high pressure moments. And I think that we have captured that feeling in some of the content and really allowed the content to speak to coaches to create this safe space, right? Because we know that there's going to be success, there's going to be failure, but girls have to have the courage to step up and actually perform and be in the moment. And so I just, one thing that struck me on what you just said was that feeling of safety and the idea that we can help coaches build that feeling is really, really exciting. So awesome answer. All right, question number two. You've obviously performed at the highest level. So besides the rigorous training that you have to go through in order to be an Olympian, or somebody that's going to perform at the highest level, what are some of the mental and emotional things that you did to prepare for those moments?
A lot different than a lot of other people. And whenever I answer this question, we kind of have a good laugh about it. But for me, it was having fun. It was talking. It was playing games. And if there was no one really around me to foster that environment, or if it wasn't beneficial for someone else, a teammate, I learned to play games on my phone or listen to music. And the kind of music that I actually like to listen to before competition, because I'm so amped up, I'm so excited. I know that this is what I want to do. I don't need that extra excitement. So I would always listen to sad country songs because I knew sad country songs because it kind of brought me back down, and I knew whatever pain I was going to feel in the competition was not as bad as what this slow sad country song was going to say. So those
That's
are kind of ways that
awesome.
I figured out how to really perform my best under pressure and under the lights. And I know it's different for every single person. And I eh, hope that I can encourage you to find out what's best for you and have that conversation with teammates, with your team members to see what they need. And as coaches, we really need to listen. Everyone's different, and I know you guys all know that as coaches, but it's just so much more important to understand that two people that have the same success in a sport can have two completely different ways to get to that success.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And first of all, I think that your personality and your goal in terms of making a lot of this fun is going to come through these activities that we're providing to coaches. So that's awesome. I love the fact that you listen to sad country music songs to get ready for big competition. Would never have imagined that. But again, your point of like, okay, we need to make sure that we're listening to individuals so that they can be individuals speaks directly to the first point that you made, that you're safe here. Like, it's okay for you to be who you are in this moment. And everybody does need something different in these moments. So the idea that we're allowing each athlete to be a part of a collective team in their own individual way is super important. So um, great insight. What do you hope coaches are going to take away from the resources that we've created in terms of helping their athletes, and even the messages that you have from the webinar today? What do you think coaches can really utilize and take back to their athletes?
I really like to point out is the before and the after. The competition day, yes, reinforce it again, learn what each person needs, what each teammate needs. That's important. So learning what each teammate needs, but also understanding that you guys are the leaders. You as coaches are the role models, are the leaders. And so you help build that attitude. You really set the precedent of what the team culture is going to be like. And so using these activities before the big day, really, I guess, reinforcing that these activities are important before the big day. Then the big day, just let it happen. Like I said, learn what each person needs, but it's game day. And then coming back together and being a unit afterwards, whether that's through reinforcement, I guess reinforcing the feedback, or it's through um creating that team unity again, because I've been through times where there's results that really come out and you're like, yes, I got it. And there's times when you're like, I didn't reach my goal. Each time, no matter good or bad, you have an up and a down. And so really working through that process rather than ignoring it, I think is very important.
And I think it's a challenge for athletes too, especially as they mature through their athletic career. And for most of us, our athletic career ends like in high school, right? And then there's a percentage that go to college, and then it's going to end at their senior year, or your very last Olympics, right? And again, I love how you brought out, hey, I have friends from Australia that I talked to today, right? So what happened in that competition didn't end that day. It became kind of a part of who you are as a person, and you carried it through the rest of your life and continue that community. So I think as coaches, that's what we want for our athletes and for our girls, right? Is for them to take relationships from the team that we had into their life as a support system for the high pressure moments in life that are not related to sport. All of these things we're teaching our athletes are going to translate into high pressure career situations, high pressure family situations, high pressure health situations for the people that they care about. And so, although we want to make sure they're having fun, we need to remember how important we are as those leaders, as the coaches, and setting this safe space. So, I'm so grateful for the collaboration with you, Allison, because I think that the coaches who utilize these resources in any way, shape, or form, right? We're not telling you how to coach your girls. We're just giving you tools for your toolbox. Take whatever tool you think you can use in that moment and make it come to life with your own personality and your own coaching style, right? So with all of that said, I'm going to take a look at how we have structured the resources. If I can get my little arrow, there we go. And just to highlight some of the resources for Surge Under Pressure. So that this will all come in one packet if you want to. You can download all of the activities and all of the vocabulary cards at once. There's also an athlete journal that will help guide them and really think through, how do we set some goals for the big game or the big competition? And then also some journaling prompts that they can use after the big game. Because like Allison said, whether you win or lose, there's going to be ups and downs when it's all said and done. So all of these resources are laid out, again, completely free for you to utilize in one packet, or you can download them individually. So the Surge Under Pressure activities, they're fun and interactive. If you haven't kind of caught the vibe yet, all of this, everything that Allison wants to bring is super fun, except for sad country music songs. They're focused on building confidence for that big game and also build those trusting relationships so the athletes do feel safe. And then that'll boost team morale and chemistry with these shared experiences. Win or lose, it's a shared experience. Even in individual sports like swimming, right? You still have teammates around you, and you're going to remember the excitement and energy that those teammates brought to you in those moments. So that chemistry and shared experience is really important. So all of these activities are paired with a vocabulary card. And the whole concept and idea around the vocabulary cards is so we can enhance team communication, and it can act as tools for conflict resolution in those big games so that they can stay focused together as a unit. It'll encourage meaningful team discussion leading up to, before, and after, and then provide vocabulary that can enhance leadership and mental well-being overall. So that's the structure that we've built within there. Allison, I'm going to put you on the spot. Anything that I forgot to mention so far, based on the content that we have, that you want to just call out?
No, you got it. 100%.
Awesome.
Team leader right there.
I just wanted to hear Allison say that I nailed it. So thank you very much. So this is just as an example of how each activity is paired. So as you go through the actual activity, so this particular one is positivity posts. The word that we want you to bring out for your team is encouragement. There's a definition that you can share, and then there's also some discussion questions that you can use to lead that larger group discussion. What I want to point out with positivity posts, and the reason why I called out this activity is it's an activity that's meant for your athletes to then go and interact in their group chat, like their team chat on their text messaging or whatever messaging app that you use for your team. This isn't necessarily just an activity they would do in practice, right? So again, back to Allison's goal of building team chemistry, those team chats are really important, and they are important and keep our team connected off the field. So how do we use that community and that tool to really help us prepare for and then carry through after the game? So we have stuff that you can do as kind of drills or activities in practice, but we also have ideas for off the field as well and keeping all of that moving. So the content is meant to be used in three phases. And this is really kind of where Allison brought the concepts and ideas over to us and said, okay, let's build it with this structure. So Allison, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of go through each of the three phases.
So we have it split into three sections or phases. First, before competition, then during competition, and then after competition. So before competition, it's really building that confidence and really creating that environment that you feel safe and you feel trusted and you know that you can succeed. And that comes from all different areas. And a lot of that comes from affirmations. I'm a huge lover of affirmations. But then we go to game day, competition time, and focusing on the task at hand. Again, reinforcing what you have built all season, the confidence you've built all season, and then afterwards, really reflecting on the competition and how you can grow from that, whether you had a great competition or a bad competition. Instead of ignoring a bad competition or ignoring a good competition, there can be growth from good or bad. And so it's really reflecting on that and having that conversation and seeing that growth for the individual, but also for your team the next year.
Awesome. And as we look at all of the resources, just to kind of to share some of our stats from Surge already. So Surge Together is by far our top module on the Surge platform. So we've had thousands of downloads from coaches all over the United States this year, and Surge Together activities make up 6 of our top 10 spots for downloads. I don't know, Allison, this is maybe the first time I shared that stat with you. So
Yeah.
it's
That's awesome.
yeah, it's really, really fun to kind of watch how coaches are using all of these resources. But the team building and the chemistry building in Surge Together has been super valuable. But Allison, so this is a question that I've gotten as I've been out at conferences and coaching clinics from coaches who maybe are seeing Surge activities for the first time, or maybe they've used them and they're now having a chance to kind of talk with me. The main question is, hey, I have some girls on the team that are just kind of like energy vampires. So, I can do all these great team building activities, and I know that, most of the girls are having a great time and they're buying in, but then there's those one or two girls that kind of just suck the energy out of the activity. Do you have any um advice for coaches in terms of like how can we get through that and how can we make sure that the girls have a positive experience?
I have advice, and I also have advice from an athlete perspective. So, which one do you want first?
Let's go with the athlete perspective.
Okay, so I think from an athlete perspective, as you're about to get into that competition, and this is something you can really share and really educate your athletes on is protecting their own energy and focusing on what they can control. One of the things that you can control is your own attitude. So you can encourage your athletes to be the model of that positive behavior you want, to be in staying upbeat and positive and keeping their goals in their minds. So really attitude sets that tone. So encourage them to use their attitude to help out the team. And so that's how I view it as from a athlete. As a coach, I know that you guys are the ones that are redirecting. And so it's really redirecting that negativity. And by saying that, I'll give you an example. And it's like asking questions. So if someone says something negative, so really focus on that solution rather than that problem. And so you can start by asking questions like, "What do you think we can do to solve this?" So that's a good way to redirect that negativity and not allow the bad eggs to spread, but use that the good energy to spread as well.
And I always found too with my athletes, it was very helpful to take some of the leaders aside and say, look, I need your energy today. Like I know there's some teammates out there that are not going to be as energetic, and I need you to show everybody what we're trying to accomplish here. And most of the time athletes rise to the occasion and they
Yeah.
go above and beyond sometimes.
Well, let's jump into, I mean, going into like being human and being 6 months old. If you're a little baby, you're gonna and you see a bad situation or good situation, you're gonna respond to that good situation. So it by saying that example, it really shows how the different environments can um allow you to buy into that
Yeah.
attitude. So like you're saying, if you need more emphasis on excitement and one person's excitement, that's going to rub off on other people.
Yeah. And a lot of times, the girls just need like one leader to like break the ice and say, it's okay, this is not too silly for me to do. And when they see a teammate do it, then they can jump in and feel confident that it's okay for them to do it as well. So,
Yes.
all right, another question, based on your career, how have your coaches really stepped up and help you through these three phases. So kind of the before, during, and after. And I know this is really important to you. So I'm assuming that you've had coaches that have really helped and shined in these moments.
So ultimately, it's building the confidence and building that trust. So it's also establishing the calmness, laying out a timeline and schedule for what is going to happen. I kind of laugh because I had a coach that really took on the responsibility of the stress, so I didn't have to. I traveled a lot for competitions, and I nowadays, if the plane gets delayed or something happens, I don't ever get stressed about planes. And I do travel a lot, but I never get stressed about it because he always took that stress. And I knew he was always 5 steps ahead of us of getting on the next plane or what was gonna happen or if we were gonna miss warm up, like where else were we where else could we train? And so that really was like the pregame, um, I guess pre-competition, pre-meet, way that he handled, us, and it kind of made us laugh at him a few times because we'd be like, "Why is he stressing so much?" But it took the stress away from us as athletes, but then game day, like I said, love competition. I love that excitement, and he really helped build that up throughout the season. And so it was really just for him, it was to sit back and just be excited. Again, reinforce the strategy that we've talked about, and then adjusting to what is needed, what I needed that day, and being able to adjust and read my body language, or if I said something, to be able to adjust to that. But then post competition, post meet, post game, it was the feedback. I loved to hear the feedback. And if I didn't hear the feedback in my mind, I would create a story that he didn't care or he didn't watch or it just doesn't matter. And so that feedback to me was important. Recognizing my efforts and also fostering that resilience. So that because for the most part, there always is that next game, that next meet. And so I guess I can tell a quick story of 2008 Olympics. So my first Olympics as an 18-year-old, and I got ninth by 1/100th. And to me, that was kind of the end of the world. I did not go best time. I was 2.5 seconds off my best time. I didn't make finals. I missed it by 1/100th. And I remember crying. I did not like to cry on deck because I knew there was always going to be the next meet, but it was still emotional for me. And instead of ignoring that or he did allow me to feel that emotions, but it was okay. So what can we do better? What can we do better next time? And for the next 4 years, he helped me use that um ninth place finish to encourage me to when training got hard, when I didn't want to train, to just keep going. And ultimately in 2012, I did not get any ninth place, and I came back with 3 golds, a silver, and a bronze.
That's better than ninth. Yeah. Wow. I mean, we all would like to think we have a growth mindset, and many of us in athletics and business, we do really kind of move with a growth mindset, but sometimes we need like a growth mindset coach to remind us, right? Like, hey, this happened for a reason. This happened so we can build from it. So I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, you don't see the silver lining in the moment, but there is a silver lining somewhere around because I mean, making one Olympics is super special. Making two is very unheard of, and just to be able to continue that, it really is was a silver lining during my first Olympics.
Well, and we're all benefiting from it because we get to work with you and create these amazing pieces of content and coaching tools. So thanks again for all that you do. So we have gone through the new Surge Together resources, which are Surge Under Pressure, and we can't wait for you to go and download those. They're available right now. And what we're going to do in this moment is we are going to open it up for an activity with the entire group. Hi, everybody. We're going to transition now into a fun activity that many of you might remember from childhood called Mad Libs. And Allison has been so kind to create a fun Mad Lib story for us. And before we can hear what that story is, we have to jump into the process of building out all of these different words. So we're going to use the chat. And the way that we're going to do this is we are going to take the parts of speech or the type of word that we need from all of the different words that you put into the chat. So if you could put in the word and then next to it in parentheses, tell us what it is, whether it's a verb, an adjective, a food, a drink, emotion, an adjective, etc., all down the line. Put those words in, and then in parentheses, let us know what it is. And then we have the team working behind the scenes, entering those into our Mad Lib story. So once we get all of these in there, we're going to have a chance to read it. So let's make sure that the chat works first and foremost. So everybody go ahead and type in a verb that ends with ing. All right, so there we go. We got lots of them coming in. Fantastic.
Definitely think about these words that you're going to be using before a big game or a big competition.
Absolutely. All right, some of these I think may end up being pretty silly as we hop in there. All right, so good job with the verbs ending in ing. We need a bunch of adjectives. So if you could put adjectives in the box, so a word that describes a noun or a pronoun, and we are going to load up the chat with as many adjectives as we can so that the team, oh, the very first one is smelly. I love it. There's got to be something in the story that's going to be classically smelly. So I cannot wait for all of that. Brilliant, brave. I love these. These are great. Outrageous, angry, hairy. All right.
Feel free to keep going down the line to the food and the drinks and emotions.
Yep, absolutely. So let's pop in some food or drink, and we can fill that part of it out. Oh, I'm actually kind of hungry right now, to be honest with you. I could go for some really good Christmas cookies and milk. Beef jerky, fantastic. That's going to fall in there pretty funny. All right, so we're getting good. We got food, we got drinks going in there. How about emotions? Let's throw some emotions into the mix. Terror. That is definitely on brand for this particular Surge Under Pressure webinar. Fantastic.
Oh, I
So
love
those are emotions.
fear.
We already have a bunch of adjectives. How about nouns? Let's throw some nouns into the chat. Competitor, house, protect this house, right? It could be a big rivalry game. And we have to make sure that we're protecting the home court. Goal, hawk. I love that.
I love this participation.
Yeah, this is so awesome. Thank you guys. All right, Allison, I left off. We just did nouns
I think
and
we already did verbs, funny event.
a funny event.
And then I think we might be done.
Some sort of funny event that could have happened on game day. And I know as coaches, we can all think of at least one or two funny things that have happened to us on game day. So a funny event.
I feel like for swimming, it's like walking into the wrong sex locker room and realizing, like, as you walk in, that embarrassment.
Pants fell down when running. Nice. Lost shoes. Fell and tripped. I remember we had a big rivalry game in college, and I kept telling all my teammates, when you go out on the field, don't trip, don't fall. And I don't know why I was saying it, but of course, who was the person who fell and tripped in front of the entire student section? It was me. You gotta love it.
You were the talk of the town.
I at least for the 30 seconds that they were all laughing for sure.
So I think that we only had the verbs ending in ing, so we need some verbs, some normal verbs.
Normal verbs without ing. Oh boy, accidentally. And actually, I have done that too. I've walked in, not in talking with somebody, not knowing that the pledge and the national anthem was going on, and was way too loud.
Yeah.
That's the worst. All right, we've got some good verbs going in there. So I am going to keep going, and while we're doing this, I'm going to ask our team behind the scenes, how are we doing? Do we have enough words?
We're still finishing up. A couple more.
Still finishing up. Okay,
Maybe
so
a few more emotions, maybe.
Few more emotions. So if you can drop some more emotions in there. There we go. Calm, excited. So as you guys are dropping these last words in, Allison did create this Mad Lib for us. And if y'all remember, it was like a pad that opened at the top back when we were kids in the 90s. And as Allison pointed out, anything from the 90s is cool again today. And although I have some shirts from the 90s, I'm pretty sure my kids would not let me wear.
Those are vintage now, so they really are cool now.
I'm going to test it out and see how that goes. But ChatGPT is an amazing Mad Lib creator. So Mad Libs is not necessarily one of the activities that we have available in our Surge Together. However, go into ChatGPT, just kind of play around with the prompts. As you can imagine, ChatGPT knows exactly what a Mad Libs is. And so you can just give it a theme, some sort of a theme like game day or, wedding crashers or whatever theme you want to have in there. And then you could say, create a Mad Lib and then give me a list of all of the words that we need to think of. And it'll spit out some really, really cool things. I always ask ChatGPT to give me 2 or 3 options, and then that way I get to pick from my favorite and go in and modify it a little bit. So that's our little advice on creating these Mad Libs if you don't want to take the time that Allison took on the one that she did for us, but I think it's going to be pretty fun to see
Beauty of AI.
The beauty of AI. It's really incredible. We did have Mad Libs in the 80s as well. Yes, I do remember that. I didn't want to date myself too badly, but oh boy. All right. So I think we're good to go, it looks like. So Allison, are you ready to read this for everybody?
Oh, am I the reader?
Yes.
Oh, let's go. Hopefully I can get through without laughing too much.
All right, here we go.
My most important game Mad Lib. The day started with me dancing with my teammates, feeling fierce and brave. We all gathered for an outrageous breakfast that included dumplings. Oh, dumplings, I'm assuming. I mean, I guess maybe you eat dumplings too. And Gatorade, which gave me the energy I needed. As we warmed up, I felt happy and tough, knowing I was ready for what was ahead. The warm up included a lacrosse stick and dogs. Nice. Which made me run. I hope in a good way. During the game, I shared some laughs with my teammates when I fell and tripped, which made everyone feel scared. Oh, that's scary. When I scored for my team, it felt daring and smelly. I knew I was giving my best effort when I kick and communicate, putting everything I had into the game. After the match, I was calm and hyped about my performance and the incredible memories I created with my team.
Fantastic.
That's like
That
a feel-good story.
it is. It is definitely a feel-good story. What I love about this, and you know, a lot of times when tensions are running high before a big game, you need something silly like this, right? Just to kind of break the ice and sometimes not take ourselves too seriously, and just kind of keep with the messaging that, hey, this is important, we're focused on it, but let's also have fun. So thank you for sharing this, Allison. I really appreciate it. It was awesome. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but Lisa fixed dumplings.
You know what? I was like, maybe this is dumpling, but let me go with it. But then I was thinking some people just like will call leftovers dumping, so it could go either way.
That's true. That's true. It could have went either way. So, well, Allison, thank you so much for, again, everything that you do for Surge and for the coaches that we all serve together. That QR code is going to take you to the Surge website if you are watching this, and you're going to be able to register if you're not already. If you are already registered, once you log in, if you find the Surge Together link, it will take you into the module that we're building with Allison and we're going to continue to build on. And you're going to be able to find the Surge Under Pressure packet in on that page right now if you want to go and check it out. So, Allison, any final words of wisdom for the group before we sign off?
Just have fun with it. I mean, I feel like I'm in a good mood after reading that. So having fun is ultimately what we want at the end of the day. Win or lose, we're gonna do one or the other multiple times during our career. So having fun is ultimately the ultimate win.
Amazing. I agree. And I'm always having fun when I'm with the Surge team. So thanks everybody for joining and keep an eye out for the next webinar.